Hi, Internet viewers, excuse me, Frank Rauscher again. We're going to keep on marching on. I'm giving you segments at a time on the owl as far as the feathering and stuff like that. I just want to show you, this is the mantle, which I was asking you to do on the last video, getting all this in, and it should look like this, okay? That's the bars that we're trying to create on here. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to do the primaries and the secondaries, which is these groups right in here. And I'm going to show you how to mark them out and get them out of the way too. And we're going to move our way down and do the tail and the backside and so on. I've given it to you in sections so that you got time to get them done. And then we'll move on to the head and the face and so on. So I just want to get you going here on everything on the back side here, and we'll get the tail probably on the next video and do both sides and what have you. So I just want to show you how we'll mark that up. But this is exactly the way I'm looking for it for the mantle, and that's this whole section that I've marked up. And I think I got most of it. I'm looking at a spot maybe that needs something right in here that I may have missed or something like that, but I'll go back and add that in as we go. But that's generally how it should look, okay? And just to give you a bird's eye view of how we do it. And then I'm going to start showing you how to mark these out. I'm going to take you down, and I'm going to shoot the camera down, and I'll do like an exploded view of what we need to do. It's similar, but it's going to be a little different than the bars we had above. Okay, so bear with me, and we'll bring you on to the next stage. Okay. The first thing we want to do, and this is what I was trying to suggest to you most of the time, is when we start marking this, I was suggesting that you get a pencil with a sharp point and go in and mark the feathers out. So what I want to do right now is show you on an exploded view of one of the feathers here. I did this, made an outline of the feather. Hope you guys can see this. Let's see. Yeah, let me move this in a little bit more so that it's in the camera view. I have an exploded view of the feather, and you have the quill coming down. So what we want to do is to come in about, I would say not quite an eighth, about, for those who are using millimeters, about 2 millimeters up. And then we're going to shoot out like this. We're going to slope out this way, and we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So you have this effect like this, okay? And then we're going to come up, and this is going to be almost the same thicknesses or distance here up to here. We're going to do and mimic this exact same one about maybe 2 millimeters up like that. And then we're going to take it a little smaller, maybe 1.5 millimeters, and we're going to do it again. And you're basically copying each one as you go. Now, we're going to go 2 millimeters up and swing it out. Okay, 2 millimeters up, swing it out. And we start out about 2 millimeters up, and then on the next one, we go 1.5 millimeters, like we completed this one, We completed this bar. Now we're going to go up 1.5 millimeters right here, and then we'll swing this out. I'm just in case you get 3 bars. Doesn't always fill the feather that you may have, but we're just giving you an idea in case you have 3 bars that you could get in. Most of this is going to be basically 2 bars, and I'll show you that in a minute. So we have 1 bar right here. This is the second bar, and this one here is going to be at least 2 millimeters up and 2 millimeters up. Now, so in essence, we have 1 bar here, 2 bars, and 3 bars. But I'm going to say, in general, you're only going to have 2 bars, but I'm going to just show you, just in case. Now, we're going to get, let me bring this back into play here so I have everything in sight of the camera. Now, I'm going to, this is, that's not it. Almost got the wrong paint. It's burnt umber. It's Liquitex, and it's an acrylic paint. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be Liquitex now. Just let me state that. And I'm going to put maybe about half a pea if I was going to size it, okay? And I'm going to try to get smart this time and just put, maybe 1, 2, 3, about 3 or 4 drops of water. Now, I have, and I can't say enough of it, you need a brush that has a bounce to it, like this one, and it comes to a point, okay? And that's essential because you're trying to do fine work, and if you have a brush it's just going to just widen out as soon as you touch it, you're going to have a hard time trying to control it. So here we go. I'm going to stir this up real good and mix it. Now I'm trying to get what I consider a heavier mix. And when we go to the paper towel here, I'm going to show you that this will come up heavy. And that's what we want. Now, you can see it's globbing still on the paintbrush, so I'm going to mix it a little bit more. Now, I'm trying to take the excess off, okay? I don't want to go right onto the bird. I need to get something like this where I have it, I take all the excess paint off the edge of the cup, and then on the last go around I twist it a little bit and it goes right into a point, and that's what we're trying to get, okay? And then when I touch this, you can see it's really dark, okay? It's not flowing real well, but there's enough water in there to get it, and then you charge your brush up. And this is to keep a control. If you have it really watery, it's going to be much lighter and not as dark, and it wants to flow all over the place. We're not trying to do that. We have a heavy mix here, okay? So I'm going to rinse this brush out temporarily. I use a cup here with water, and I try to take all the paint out of it initially here, because what I want to do on the next stage is make it easy for you if you haven't caught on already. When I was saying about putting all this in, I usually pencil it on so you have an idea. In this case here, these bars are going to be heavier than what we put in up here. These are going to be bigger. So here's what we do. I'm going to get my optivisor, which is my magnifier, so I can see better. And I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to come up about 2 millimeters. not quite 1/8 of an inch, and I'm marking that out. Then I'm coming up about 2 millimeters again, and I'm marking that one out. Then I'm going to come up another 2 millimeters, and I'm going to run that over that way and run this over this way. So you have a bar here and a bar just up here, okay? This one is underneath, so I'm losing some of it there. You're not going to cover the whole thing, okay? So just letting you know that. Now, for the next one, this feather next to us, I'm going to take this line and I'm going to go below it. I'm only doing like what would be considered half the feather, which is like just taking half from the quill over. I'm going to mimic that. So I'm going to go below this line and swing this out. Then I'm going to go below that line and mimic it. And then I'm going to come up here about 1.5 millimeters, and I'm going to swing that over, and then that one. And I'm going to do the same thing on the next one. Where this line starts, I'm going to go below it, swing that out, and where this line is, I'm going to go below that and swing that out. Same way up here. I'm going to go below the line, and then I'll get the bar up top. So here's the line here. I'm going to come just below it, swing that, come over here, swing that. Here's the line here. I'll go slightly below that, swing that one in, and so on. I'm going to come over here, do the same thing. Right there, right there, and right there. And you're going to continue that right on down. And here's where you're going to end up down here. I'll do this whole row over here so you can see it. So I'm going to go a little lower here, a little low here. That's one. Then I'll get another one. There's another one here. And go right here. Then this one goes low, or then that one, then that. Then I'm going to come over here, strike that one in, and strike that one in. Now I got more room up here, so I'm going to throw another line up in here, as if like this is the start of another bar. Then I'm going to come over here, strike that, lower on that one from this one, and then come up here, and then we get another one up there. Then as you keep on coming over, this moves up a little bit now because we're really getting really tiny, and you want to come in maybe about 1 millimeter. Then I'm going to start getting 2 millimeters apart here, and then a bar of 2 millimeters. Then I'm going to go 1.5 millimeters, bring that in, and that in. Now here's where we get 1, 2, 3 bars. So I'm going to come up here about 1.5 millimeters. That's the first one. Then I go 2 millimeters up. That's the second one. I do 1.5 millimeters for this one, and then 2 millimeters up. I go 1.5 millimeters, and then 2 millimeters up. And then up here, I go 1.5 millimeters up to here, then 2 millimeters between these two, and then 1.5 millimeters between here and here, and then 2 millimeters, then 1.5 millimeters, like so. So I got them all marked out. Now, what I want to show you, I'm going to charge up my brush, and I'm going to do this on paper here first so that you can see how I'm trying to do this. I'm going to bring this into play here. And what we want to do is to come in here, and between those first two bars, well, we're doing the bar. I want you to paint this solid like that, okay? And charge your brush up, take the excess off, get it into a point, and then come in, and you're doing it between those two lines. So you're, like in most cases, these are like 2 millimeters here, and then 2 millimeters up. The bars are about 2 millimeters thick. Then the next one between here and here is 1.5 millimeters, and then 2 millimeters for the bar, then 1.5 millimeters, and then 2 millimeters for the thickness of the bar. And this is what I mean by the bar. These are much thicker than what we've put on the bird before, on any of them, okay? So let me charge up the brush again, because you want to keep the same darkness, and you don't want any globs on the brush, which I'm getting right now. So I keep twirling this and get it into a point, and you'll see I'll have a consistent brown this way. And I want to paint within, running out of juice here. I better stir this up a little bit. I think the moisture is not going all the way, which will make this flow better. There you go. And you want to stay within your bar, so you're getting the bar pretty thick. Same way here and here. Okay, these are much darker and thicker than these up here, okay, if any of the styles. So let me show you. I'm going to start on the secondaries, and then we'll do the primaries. These are the secondaries right in here. So I'm going to charge my brush up. See, I got some glob of paint here, and I'm going to really take the excess off, and I twist my brush as I move off, so it goes at least into a point. So here we go. I'm going to come in on the first bar, and I'm coming around, and you gotta take your time and stay within the lines. And like I said, if you ever go out, you can always just rinse your brush out, and you could take the paint right off by just going back and cleaning that, okay? Now, the next bar, I'm going to charge my brush up, twist it, take the excess off, and I'm going to come right up into here, because we have a spacing. And I think I went a little too high on that. I'm going to move. Remember, we were 2 millimeters up, 2 millimeters thick, then 1.5 millimeters, which should be down to here, and comes around. And then we have this 2 millimeters from here to here. So let's see if I can't fill that in without touching my mantle feathers. Okay, I'm coming around. I'm trying to just stay within the bar that I created, okay? You see how thicker they are compared to these up here. So I'm going to charge my brush up again. Now we're coming over here. Oop. Let me just touch a little bit more, get that over there. Just notice that. Okay, over here, this line dropped down a little bit, so this bar is a little lower than the one we created before. So I'm going to come this way, and then I'll drag it inward. Then I'm going to come up and do the next one. Let me charge my brush up for that so I have plenty of paint on the brush. And I'm sweeping that across. Hope these are all in my viewing camera here. That's the second one. Now I'm going to do the third one, which is slightly lower. Yep. Charged up the brush again. Twist it. Get a nice point with the paint. And I come in. And I'm marking this up. It's much thicker than what we've done before. Okay. And then I don't want to leave any white outside that. Anything in the bar. I'm going to charge my brush up again. I got the upper bar here. And that starts right here. And I'm trying to stay within that bar area. Ooh, I jumped, see? Now, there's probably nothing wrong with that, but I'm going to show you how to clean that up. I just rinsed my brush out, took all the water out, then I'm going to come over here, just like that. And the brush acts like an eraser. Now, I don't want to go in and paint that right away because that has water in it and it will disperse all over the place. So I'll get a tissue real fast and I'm going to come in, not on what I painted, but where the paint ran, and dry that, okay? And I'm going to skip that just to give it a chance to dry, okay? I'm not just going to go right attacking it again. So I'm going to come in, charge my brush up again. Then I'm not going to do this one because it's a little moist up there. So I'm going to come to the next one I marked out. And I'm going to get this one. And I hope I'm in range here and I'm not doing something goofy, so that you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay. And if it doesn't come up as dark, stir the paint up a little bit, take the excess off, just to get the right mix, okay? Then I come up here. I hope you're in range again, so that I'm not dancing out of the view of the camera here. And we get that one. Now I need to do that corner up there. And it's a little tedious, but it really comes out neat when you get done. Now I'm going to do this one in between. I think that's dry enough up there. So I'm going to come in. Ooh, got to charge up the brush, take the excess off. Then I'm going to come in, and I'm coming across here, like so, right to the edge. And then I'm going to come up here. It should be dry enough now that I think it shouldn't run. Yep. There's that. Now I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to show you what to do on the next one. Now, I'm going to do this one. Remember, it's almost even with that one now when it gets to about the sixth one. Oop, let's stir that up. I'm not getting enough paint coming off. I can feel it. So I charge up my brush to have just enough paint flowing. So it's a touchy-feely type thing. I just went out of my band there. That barring, I should say. So I'll show you how to clean that up too. There's two ways of doing it. I went a little outside, so I'll rinse my brush real good, get the excess water off of there, and then I'm going to come in right on the edge here and clean that up. Clean the brush up with water again. Just touch the outside edge, and you can pick up everything you need to do. So you're going to be doing each bar. You got 2 here. You got 1, 2, 3 here. You got 1, 2, 3 here to just about peek in, and so on. And then you got 1, 2, 3 full ones here. Same way here. So you're going to continue that. You can see how much they stand out compared to the rest of them here. Now, I'm going to also show you how to do, these are the secondaries is what they're called, this grouping in here. On this group, this is the primaries, and I'm going to show you how to do these too, okay? So let me do that on a piece of paper again. And these are a little more elongated and everything else. So I'm going to come in and I'll do an exploded view of these. And it's got a quill. And what we want to do on this one, and it's the, let me bring this in. This bar that we're going to create here starts similar like these, about 2 millimeters up, and then we put a bar and then another one and so on. These will have a series of them going across here, and what I want you to do is these have a point to them, okay? And I want to try to create that, and what I mean by that is we're going to come up 2 millimeters, and we come up 2 millimeters from here, and then it comes out like this, but it dips right here. And then it's going to come over here and join and dips right there. Then you're going to come up 2 millimeters and go out like that. You're going to go 2 millimeters and come out. Well, I'm actually a little shy. That should be a full 2 millimeters across. Excuse me. 2 millimeters here and 2 millimeters right there. Then I'm going to come up 1.5 millimeters, and I'm going to do this. And I'm going to come up and go like this. Notice this dips a little bit where this came right around. Then you're going to go 2 millimeters up, and you're mimicking this. Okay. Now, because most of the feathers you're going to do on this bird, on this grouping, is only half feathers, similar to like this. See, when we did this one, the next one comes off like this. And I had you step back a little bit and put that one in, and then step down from that one and put that one in, and then did the same. I went lower on this one, and then lower on this one, and did it that way. And you got all of this as one, another, and when you get about 6 down, you start going at the same distance up when you put your bars, the 6th feather down, I should say. And here, you're going to have the same thing. You're going to have this as only a peekaboo of feathers, and they're going to go like this. Okay, and you are going to have feathers that start below here like this and come out, and then this one's going to be like here, and then you're going to come out right here below this one, and you're mimicking just this little section right here because it's just peeking out, and then this one right here. And because a lot of them are really long, elongated, you're going to have a lot more exposure on these. So you're always doing about the same spacing all the way up. The same way with this. If you go to do this one, it comes out here. This is lower. This is below that line, that way, and then that way. Now, to paint them, I'm going to come in like this. I'm painting this one in full, like so. Okay. Then charge up your brush again. And then you're doing this one. Okay. And then you're doing this one. Okay. Charge up your brush again. You're doing the whole thing here. Going through. And it has a dip right there. And this has a dip right here. Okay. So, now over here, you're never going to see it because it's underneath. So all you're worried about on these is just these exposed bars. And it's just a little bit of the bar sticking out. So you're filling that in. And you're filling this in. Like so. Then you charge your brush up and you do, well, this is losing a little color. Put this in. And then so on up here. You have another bar right here. And we're going to be doing this whole series. Now, let me come back. And the idea now is to get your pencil lines in. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start about 2 millimeters up, and I'm going to spin out. And I go 2 millimeters. Well, I'm up 2 millimeters, and I slide down, but into a point. Then I come up 2 millimeters and just arc it right through, similar to what we did up here. It doesn't have a point up top here. Then you come up 1.5 millimeters and you spin up. It has a little point. This comes down into the point, and then you do 2 millimeters up here. Down here, here's what's going to happen. You're 2 millimeters up, and you come into a point, and you come over here, and you're coming down to that point. Then you're 2 millimeters up here. You slide that over. You go 1.5 millimeters. And you slide that over. You go 2 millimeters up here. And you slide that over. Now you're going to come to the next one. And this one here, you will see a point on this one. This is the 3rd feather. You swing out. This one already tucks under, so you don't see that. Then you come up. Now you were 2 millimeters up, and then this is a 2 millimeter thickness here. So you swing out, 1.5 millimeters. You swing out, 2 millimeters up, you swing out, 1.5 millimeters, you swing out, and then 2 millimeters up. Then, when you come over here, you still have an exposed end here, okay? So you start 2 millimeters up, and it goes out. And you just have a little bit that comes into a point here and then hides under that one. So you're 2 millimeters up, 2 millimeters thick. Let me slide that. You're mimicking this same flow. Then you're going 1.5 millimeters, which is here, and then 2 millimeters up from there, like so. Then 1.5 millimeters and 2 millimeters up. Then you're not going to get anything up there. And you're going to keep on doing that until you have a whole big row of what looks like this, okay? And you can see they increase as they come down. There's more bars as you go, okay? So what we're going to do, I'm going to start you out on some of these to get you going, and you're going to complete all of them. So it's 2 millimeters up, a 2 millimeters bar, which is the thickness of the bar. And then for the next one, you're got 1.5 millimeters, which is less than 2 millimeters. So you keep on doing that until you fill all that in, okay? So I'm going to charge my brush up. Hope I didn't confuse you there. Get the excess off. I'm going to come in. I'm going to do the first bar right up top. This is the top one here. I'm going to come in here. Hope you guys can see this okay. I'm going to get it right out to the end, but I want to make sure I'm staying on my feather. And if it gets like it's not going solidly, go back and stir up the mix and then come back and you'll see this is a little darker up here and a little lighter down here. So I'm just coming back with a fresher mix. And that's the first one. Then that comes down to a point. See where this comes into a point? These don't. Now I'm going to come into here. There's the point right there. And these just hide under the existing secondaries. We're doing the primaries now. We're doing a primary, but the secondary feathers are done up here. So that's the first one. Now I charge my brush up again. And let me roll that. So it goes into a nice point. Now I come down here. And I'm going to start right here. I don't want to go onto that feather that's on top. I'm doing this just below. And it comes into a point right there. And then this just peeky-boos out. Right up like that. Then I charge my brush up again. I come up and do the next bar. Hope I'm not too close to the camera here so that you can see all this. And the third one is hardly enough to get in there. So I'm not going to concern myself trying to get another one in there. So we stop there. Now I'm going to do the third one, the third feather. I'm going to come in here, get the paint on. I'm going to come down, get it into a point, and it's hiding under the existing one in front of it. Then I go to the next one. Now, if any of you has actually grabbed the wrong one, like I said, you can water things down and get this paint right off right away. You don't want to let it sit. But if you really get it where it hangs in there, you can always go back and add a white paint to get it white again. You're not going to see this point up here because it's underneath. Now, in this case, this next bar does fit in. And I'm going to come right in here and slide that up. So we got 3 bars on that one. Now, I'm going to charge my brush up again. And I'm going to come in and do the 4th feather over. And coming back. It comes into a point at the bottom there. That's the 1st feather. Charge the brush up again, take the excess paint. And then I get in and do that one. Now, let me just touch this one up here. Now, the next one, I'm going to try to do right in here, right to the edge. So this is what we're having. Now, when we go to do the next one, let me rinse this out. I'm going to show you. I didn't pencil everything in, but I'm going to do the next one because the next one is 2 millimeters up. And all we're doing is seeing a bar now. We're not seeing any of this point exposed. So I'm 2 millimeters up, 2 millimeters wide, then 1.5 millimeters. Takes you here. I'm just getting this swing, that's all. And then 2 millimeters up, which takes it right to there. Then 1.5 millimeters, which takes you right to here. Then another 2 millimeters, 1.5 millimeters. And then this area will be like the next bar. So you got 1, 2, let's see if I did that right. No, 1, 2, 3, 4 bars, okay? And then if I go and do another one, here's 2 millimeters up from here. I slide this one over, then 2 millimeters up, 1.5 millimeters, 2 millimeters up, 1.5 millimeters, 2 millimeters up, 1.5 millimeters, and this goes right under and stops right at the feather in front of it, okay? And that's how you're going to build this up. Now, after you get all this going, and I notice I see like this one, just to show you, this has got the right intensity here. This one doesn't. So if that occurs for you, just charge your brush up again and then come back and just give it a once over. Okay, and that should get you to have a consistent brown. You don't want a watered down one and a heavy one, okay? So you're not going to have any of the points exposed all the way on down here because they're all covered up. You're only doing like half feathers. So you're going to do everything this way, and then you're going to go the other way. You're going to come back here, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to come over here, 2 millimeters up, and then you're going to swing. This is on this side. This is for this grouping, which is the secondaries. You're arcing this around, 2 millimeters up. You're arcing that one. Then you're coming up 1.5 millimeters, and you're arcing that, and the rest gets butt right up to the next one. And then you're going to do 2 millimeters up down here, and you're going to just flow out like this, 2 millimeters, 1.5 millimeters, and 2 millimeters. And you're going to do the same thing, 2 millimeters up, 2 millimeters wide, 1.5 millimeters here, and then 2 millimeters up. And you can do that all the way down. And that goes with these here too. These get a point on here. So this will flow down to 2 millimeters. So will this. Then this arches over 2 millimeters from this point to here. Then you come up 1.5 millimeters and you go this way. And you go this way. And then there should be just a little bit exposed up there. And you're going to do that all the way down, okay? So I'm going to let you just follow what I'm doing here on this side and build the same thing going this way, okay? If there is some confusion, write to me. Let me know that I didn't make it clear or something like that. I try to as best I can. I hope you got something out of this. We're getting down to really finalizing these here. We'll do the tail feathers and the wings afterwards. The tail feathers and the wings, yeah, on the next video. And I want you to get this grouping done on both sides so that it'll look like this consistently right on through. And then, like I said, if there's really some confusion and you mess up, you can rinse your brush out real fast, take the excess water out, and then come back and wipe some of it out. If it gets so bad that the brown gets out of control, you can always get titanium white in water and then paint over this and then start over again after it's dry, okay? You definitely have to have it dry, and then you can mark them out too. So I would like you to proceed on with this on both sides, and then we'll get you going on the rest on the next video. And I'm trying to give it to you in sections here so that you can control those. And you're not doing these guys here. We'll get them with the primaries. And I should say the wings, I should say. And we'll get those scapulars out here. So I hope you got something out of this. If you did, I'd ask you to give me a thumbs up. If you could subscribe to my channel, I'd appreciate that as well. We are marching on here, and we're doing segments of it. I'm not trying to give this to you all at once because I can confuse the heck out of you. You can see how we did different groupings and how we did it. And I want you to get this pretty close to what we have here. And always stay within the confines of the feather. It'll be ideal. And like I said before, if you have a friend that may be wanting to try something like this, I'd ask you if you could refer my channel to them. It greatly helps me out in my just the grouping, to get my channel going, and I'd really appreciate the help. I also, if anybody's interested in anything I use here or the paints, I don't sell Liquitex paints, but I do have acrylic paint. And you don't have to use a Liquitex. You can use any acrylic paint, and it should work for you. And if you need anything, please contact me. I do have catalogs available. You can get me through my email address, which is in the comment section of my video, or you can write to me through my email, which is Rauscher, R-A-U-S-C-H-E-R, Frank, F-R-A-N-K, 7@gmail.com. And feel free to ask any questions, or if you need help on anything, write to me. I'll gladly try to help you out, and I hope I didn't confuse you. So, excuse me. I'll see you on the next video, and we will proceed on. And I hope you enjoy what you're doing. Bye now.